What's going on, guys? Adam again, back with Atomic Garage, and today, guys, we are going to be talking about and working on the Mercedes Benz and getting some of these parts back inside of the car so we can see if we're actually going to get this thing to start or not. Coming up in this video. So as the intro just stated, guys, we are working on the Mercedes, and we've got a whole fuel contraption that has a whole bunch of different parts and hoses going everywhere, and I'll explain everything to you in just a minute. We've also got spark plugs that we removed outside of the car, and we had to clean them up. We soaked them in some Simple Green, then we used some acetone to finish clean them up, a little bit of Scotch Brite, and now these $15 Bosch Platinum Plus plugs, that's a mouthful, is now all cleaned up and ready to go back in the car. Now, guys, I remember the last video I said I was going to do a lot of work and trying to blow out the fuel system and do all a bunch of stuff like that. And I'm going to do some of it. What I'm going to do is disconnect the fuel line that goes straight into the fuel distributor. We're going to take that off, blow air through that, then reconnect it, and then we're going to try and fire it up. I've already have some fuel right there, as you can see, and we're going to try and get this thing started today, if at all possible. So first, let's talk about this wacky fuel setup. Then after that, we will throw these plugs back in the car, put this fuel system into the car, and see if maybe we can get it started. I don't know. Let's try. So here it is, guys. Here's the fuel system for a 1987 Mercedes Benz 420 SEL. Wow, that's a lot. Now, you see multiple different things, and you guys are probably wondering what is everything. So we will start with the top. These two are our fuel pumps, okay? 255 LPH, and we've got a bunch of T's and junctions and stuff like that. So I've labeled some of it to make it a little bit easier to understand. This is the fuel side coming in. That's that. And here we have an accumulator that goes in there, which we'll talk about into a second. Main fuel comes straight from the gas tank, which will be connected here into here. Now from there, this fuel pump is going to pump it on into the second one. Once it goes from the second one, it's going to pump into the fuel filter, which will go to the engine. But there is a T here because some fuel is going to go to the back of this assembly to the fuel accumulator. And that accumulator will keep pressure in these lines and stuff to help with repeated warm starts. That accumulator goes to this hose right here that tees right back into the main fuel system, and it goes all over again. So that's a whole bunch of different wires and different purposes and different things like that. But hopefully, with everything being brand new, it can be ready to go. And I've also got some riv nuts to put into the frame of the car, so that whole thing should bolt up and look pretty good. Now, we've also got the spark plug, which they all look way, 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 way better than what they did originally. Even though they weren't terrible, they would have probably started, but now with them being clean like this, they definitely will. So what we're going to do is now take these parts, throw them back in the Mercedes Benz, and then we're going to try and get it started. Guys, so the next step for us is going to be going under the car. And when we go under the car, we're going to go ahead and reinstall, or rather install, this brand new fuel pump system in all its glory. Now, I've got both impacts out for a reason. I've got one impact out so I can be able to drill out the size for the riv nut to go into. Then I also have this one to actually tighten the riv nut. And this is the little doohickey here that I made to make it work. We've got a bolt that's the same thread as the riv nut. Then we've got these big fender washers and a nut that is just going to be used just to hold things in place. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold it and you're gonna drive this main bolt all the way through, and it's going to push and squish and tighten this whole thing up against the frame. Just an easy way of doing it, just in case you don't have a riv nut installer. But I'm gonna take all of this and I'm gonna crawl up under the car with some lights, and I'm gonna show you, we're gonna go ahead and put everything together and hopefully knock this whole thing out pretty quickly. Now, as you guys can see, I've got both of them completely installed, and it was just as simple as what I said earlier. Once you have the bolt in, you just drive it through with that nut in between, and it's going to tighten and shrink everything, and everything is now nice and secure. So we're going to go ahead and bolt up the fuel pump, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so here is where we stand so far. I've got the fuel pump mounted and everything like that. I've got the wires going to each of the fuel pumps. Now what I have to do is put these tiny little nuts on them. These little nuts and these little washer things to kind of stop them from backing out. And once I put that on, then I can go ahead and move from there. So there's two things that need to be done. Hook up the line for the fuel line that goes from the fuel pumps all the way to the engine. But before I do that, I need to blow that out with air and clean that up. And also, I've got one of the little connectors, you can't see it inside of here, that's being cleaned with some Simple Green because it was gunky and stuff like that. And that little elbow piece is going to go from the line that's supplying fuel from the gas tank to the fuel pump itself. So that's the next order of business, the next thing that I actually need to get done. Once that gets done, we can go ahead and roll from there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just knock out a lot of this grunt work that's under the car, and I'll catch you guys once I get all of that done. So from here on, guys, what we've got going on is I've got the fuel line that goes into the fuel distributor. I've gotten that taken off. It's also disconnected in the back. So I'm going to blow pressurized air through this line, and we're going to see what gets collected inside of this water bottle. Maybe nothing, I don't know, but I at least kind of want to see what's in the system. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Not a whole lot came out of it, but still, this is what was in there. Like, that is pretty nasty, if I must say so myself. So now we're going to reconnect everything, throw a little bit of fuel in it, and throw a battery in it, and run out of time today. So I'm probably come back tomorrow, and we'll fire it up. So let's keep working. Ooh, it's very nice in here. We got our key. Oh wow, it is something else. See if we can prime the fuel pump a little bit. Okay, we know that it's gonna start now. Well, at least that it's spinning over and the battery is good. It's ridiculous that this battery is no good, but you know what? That's all right. I have what we like to call starting fluid. And we are going to try this. That's 50% ether. We're going to spray it in there, and maybe that'll help give us a little bit of incentive or encouragement to try and start. See what happens. Oh, you heard it. I'm sure that if I keep spraying ether in it, it'll start and run. Not great, but start and run. But I kind of don't want to do that. But I do understand that fuel takes a little bit of time to get all the way up here, which could partially be it. So I'm going to try and spin it over a couple more times and see if we can get the fire. Got a little impatient, kind of loaded it up with a little bit of starting fluid. Let's see what happens now. Woo! Well guys, it's been several days since I've been working on the Mercedes Benz, and honestly guys, I have not made any success. The fuel system on this car is quite unique and crazy. It's got a high pressure system, and you already know about the fuel distributor, and I thought as long as I had good fuel pumps, good fuel filters in the back, clean the line that's coming to the front, then there'd be no issue. But I can't get fuel from the back of the car to the front. And it's got all a bunch of other like hydraulic like hoses and stuff for fuel, and I'm not getting fuel anywhere in the front. So I'm gonna have to dig deep inside of manuals and diagrams, at least the ones that I can find, to see if I can figure out exactly what's going on with this car. This car has won the first round, but it will not win the next one. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, give it a thumbs down. Tell me how I can improve my content, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.